Welcome, lovelies. In today's episode, we'll be meal prepping a beef roast. Now, I've already cleansed my roast with water and distilled vinegar, so now it's time to add our marinade. I took a can of pineapples and added 3 pineapple rings to my beef. And I also took that leftover pineapple juice and added it to my marinade with some soy sauce, Worcester sauce, and hoisin sauce, and of course some Kitchen Goddess seasoning. And I just poured it in the bag, zipped it up, and went ahead and gave it a good massage and infused my meat with lots of light and love of the highest vibration, just to ensure that it's nice and tasty when it's done cooking. Also, guys, you could take a fork and give it a good stab a couple times. Oh, that sounds so vicious, but this ensures that the juice penetrates throughout the meat and all those flavors are incorporated. And place it in your fridge for 24 hours and let it do its thing. Yes, God. So it's the next day and it's the weekend, so I decided to treat myself to a little peach Bellini and do a little sip and cook with you guys. Cheers. So I took my meat out of the refrigerator and I let it sit for 20 to 30 minutes to get it to room temperature. I'm going to go ahead and remove the beef from the bag and discard the marinade bag. We no longer need it. Next, we're going to take a big bundle of paper towel, or you can use napkin, totally up to you. And also wear gloves because I don't like touching raw meat, guys. I don't know, it just kind of grosses me out a little bit. You know, I'm a vegetarian turned regular person now, so I'm still a little grossed out. But we're going to take that paper towel and remove any excess marinade on both sides, flip it over, and also remove it on the plate as well. We're going to take a little bit of cornstarch. And just to remind you guys, I did change my gloves before I touched my cornstarch container, so don't even trip, okay? But anyways, we're going to put the cornstarch on both sides and all around on the edges of the meat as well. Now, I forgot to add my cornstarch to my marinade because it actually helps to tenderize the beef, but I just forgot, and you can do it right here on this step. It's totally fine, and also it'll help with the searing process as well. So give it a good tap on both sides, and also get in the crevices of the meat as well, just to make sure everything is evenly coated so we have a nice good sear on both sides. Next, we're going to heat up our cast iron skillet and get it nice and hot and add some extra virgin olive oil. I chose extra virgin olive oil for its anti-inflammatory properties, and I chose the cast iron skillet for its iron properties so that it can naturally increase my iron through my cooking. So that's a little health tip for you guys. Next, we're going to add our beef to our hot pan. And I also want to give this tip to you guys. Never put cold meat in a cold pan. Always have your meat at room temperature and always have your pan heated very hot so that it can give your meat a nice sear, because if you don't, you will just be boiling the meat. There will be no sear, which means there's no flavor, and this is just a waste of time. So yeah, go ahead and heat your pan up, guys. Anyways, we added our meat to our hot pan and we're just going to let the meat just sear for a couple minutes, get it nice and golden brown on the outside part, which is flavor. And also, this is another tip, guys. So when you're searing your meat and it's sticking to the pan, that means it's not ready to flip yet. You'll know when it's ready to flip when the meat is released from the pan. Look how that is. Boom. That's when you know it's ready to flip. So now we're going to sear our other side of our meat and we're going to just let it do its thing once again. And I also added some Worcester sauce on the other side because I just like to do that with my beef when I cook it. It just gives it a little bit more flavor. To me it does, but you don't have to do this step. It's totally up to you. Next, we're going to go ahead and just brown the outer side of the beef. Cannot forget about the outer side of the beef, guys. That needs some flavor too, okay? So we're just going to do that with the entire beef until it's all finished and done. And then we're going to add it to our crock pot, or you can add it to a big stock pot if you want, filled with water. Totally up to you, and you just cook it over the stove. But I'm going to use a crock pot today, guys. So there's our beef in the crock pot, looking absolutely gorgeous and steaming piping hot and ready for our aromatics and fresh vegetables to be added. I added a dried red chili. I also added a fresh pepper, a couple bay leaves to draw in prosperity, aka some money, honey. And I also added a few cloves of whole garlic and some holy basil, all of which I purchased from the farmer's market. And so you know they're nice and delicious and fresh, okay? And no pesticides, mad. I also added a chicken bouillon cube. You can add chicken stock or beef stock or vegetable stock, totally up to you. And then I'm going to add some Nor Sazon. You can use any brand of Sazon, doesn't matter. And this Sazon mixture has culantro and some oregano, and I also added some additional oregano to my dish because I absolutely love oregano, and it's also a prosperity drawing herb as well, and it has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties too. So a lot of health tips in this video, guys, just only trying to spread knowledge. I also added some ground paprika and some red ground pepper as well to give it a little spice. You know, we like a little kick in our food. And of course, I just added more extra virgin olive oil and some other herbs and spices. And yeah, next we're gonna add some. So all kind of stuff being added in here, y'all. I had to take a pause break. So I'm like, dang, what else I added up in here? Sheesh. Just know it was flavorful. You just pile it on. Just make sure it don't have a bunch of salt in it, y'all. That's just all I asked. Anyways, I added some anoche. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. So if I said it wrong, guys, I'm sorry. But I showed the package so you guys can just go ahead and screenshot and take it to your local store and get you some, okay? Because it's really good. It adds a lot of flavor and does add a nice little red coating to your meat as well. Alright, so you know I couldn't do a video with adding some Kitchen Goddess seasoning, prosperity herbs and spices. So you know I added some prosperity. I also added some blessings to it because you know that's what we manifested in 2021 and all 2022. Okay, 222. So now we're finally adding the water, which I thought we were adding a couple minutes ago, but I was completely wrong. But anyways, we want to add about 4 cups of water, or just make sure the water is completely covering the meat and the vegetables. And then we're going to go ahead and put the lid on, set our crock pot to the highest. I think it's like 6 hours on most of them, and on high heat, and let it do its thing and let it cook until it's completely done and falling apart. Just like this. Ooh wee. All right, now we're just gonna take our spoon and break apart the meat. Just notice that you gotta use a spoon to break the meat apart. That is so crazy. That's how you know it's tender, right? So anyways, guys, I'm just gonna break apart the meat, and then I'm gonna go ahead and shred it and put it in a bowl and put some saran wrap over it so that I can utilize it for my meal preps for the week. You can use half of the meat and go ahead and store the rest in the freezer to make other meals for another time. But I used the whole thing, and I made about 5 meals out of this beef pot roast. And let me tell you guys, I am totally beefed out. Okay, I don't want to see another beef roast for a very, very long time. All right, all jokes aside, like this was a lot to eat, but we don't want to waste food, so somebody go eat it. Okay, but anyways, I went ahead and put it in the bowl, and I just want to give you guys a close-up of how the beef looks and how tender it was and how it just broke apart with my fingers. And yeah, so now let's go ahead and show you guys the creative meals that I whipped up with this beef pot roast. Okay, so first up we have a muck bean soup. Muck beans are actually really good anti-inflammatory properties, so I like to use that for noodles when I make my noodle soups and ramen bowls and whatnot. So yeah, I made that and put the beef in there with other vegetables, and it was pretty delicious, very flavorful for my broth, I might add. Next up, I did a beef roast omelet in the rising. I did some roasted potatoes. I also did some green onions, some avocado, a little provolone cheese, and I added some shallots as well to this. So it was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a really bomb omelet. I would say my best open face omelet I've ever made. Okay, kudos to me. All right. Alrighty, next up I did a beef provolone sandwich. I added some avocado, fresh arugula, some sauteed red onions, and I also had some Asiago bread that I toasted with some herb compound butter that I made, and also made some red potato chips. Fresh. Listen to this. Wow. Beautiful, delicious. It's safe to say that sandwich was done. Okay, sprinkle me, baby. Next up, I made another ramen bowl with vegetables. Guys, I can't lie, I make noodle and ramen bowls pretty much a couple times a week. I just love noodles, always have since I was a little girl. It's just so dang on good, and I like lots and lots of green onions in mine. So yeah, delicious. Alrighty, so here is our last meal. I created a pasta, of course. I took some Barilla protein pasta and I tossed it with some fresh tomatoes, fresh garlic, fresh arugula, shallots. I also added a little bit of white wine and also some holy basil, and it was absolutely amazing. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to give you guys a look on how you could take one beef pot roast and make a couple meals out of it so you're not stressing yourself out during the week. And I really hope that this helped you guys out. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when your girl is posting a new video. As always, goodies, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.